Welcome to another episode of How I Discovered My Gift with yours, host, truly, David D. Simons. I'm excited to have my brother, Coach Andre, on today. He is a 17-year licensed top producing realtor that had to learn how to earn his success after tough past experiences. The first few years of his real estate career were met with much failure and opposition. Shortly after going full-time, Andre was evicted from his apartment and found himself homeless for 3 years and living with friends and family, trying to figure it out in this industry. Determined to do just that, Andre's resilience finally paid off after sleeping in his car for 3 months and selling homes when he had no home. I want you to get kind of hustle you have to sell homes and have no home. And Andre began to gain some consistency and momentum for the next few years. He took that initiative to host his own home buying seminars, speak on platforms, spread the knowledge of the importance of homeownership. As his name suggests, his efforts were noticed, and he was awarded to be featured in 3 TV news clips and multiple magazines. His knowledge, passion, and production earned him multiple real estate awards, and what he's most proud of, a book of business that comes primarily from referrals. Andre went from chasing business to business chasing him. Although Andre has been licensed since 2004, he's just getting started. Andre is constantly pursuing to live his own philosophy, life's philosophy, to lead with love and live to give. Man, I'm going to read that again. He lives to lead his life with his own life's philosophy, to lead with love and to live to give. He believes God gets the glory for his story, and there's no testimony without a test. Amen to that, bro. Welcome to the show, my brother.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you, man. Thank you, sir.
No doubt, man. No doubt. So we've gotten to cross paths in different states and different places, and
Yeah.
it's so cool. And you always stood out to me, brother, like your spirit, and so I'm excited to have you on the show, and I really want to dive in, man, because I look at you as someone who really has a really deep revelation on purpose, right? And the importance of it. We'll talk about all things, but I really want to start with your journey, man. Take us through childhood, man. What was childhood like for you, and just growing up, becoming who you are today?
I grew up in a household. Both of my parents are Jamaican descent, and my mother, at a very young age, she split from my father. And when they split, I saw a different person in my brother. It changed my brother completely. I have 2 younger brothers. I'm the oldest of 3. And I saw what it did to him, and he was a completely different person from then. And I saw my mother uh, trying to figure it out, working multiple jobs at times, and then she became an entrepreneur. She finally found somebody as I got a little older, and she's been with him since I was I want to say since high school. And I saw her make that transition from working as an employee, multiple jobs at times, and we struggled. There was a lot of times where, well, put it like this: people always ask me, "What part of Houston are you from?" And I have a problem. I shouldn't say problem. It's a challenge for me to answer that question because I'm not from any particular part. We literally moved around a lot. I went to 2 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, 2 high schools, and then 2 colleges. So I was
Mm,
going to different parts of the city just trying to make it. We moved to what's called Hockley, Texas, which is just outside of Houston, because my mother had an opportunity to rent out her house from a friend who was going to be the landlord. So growing up, it was a financial challenge and struggle until I got about 19, 20-ish, right after high school. She got into real estate as a mortgage broker. So she had her own company as a mortgage broker. And that was when my mother broke into 6 figures and we started doing a little better, but it didn't last very long because then the market crashed and started all over again.
dang, man.
Yeah.
So is it safe to say is your mother one of your heroes?
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I've seen what she's had to overcome being, because there were 5 kids. She's the only girl. So she had 4 brothers, and then she grew up and had 4 sons.
Wow.
Yeah, so she's always been the only female. So just seeing the strength that she's had, the entrepreneurship journey, everything, absolutely. The answer is
Mm.
yes.
Did it inspire you to get into entrepreneurship? What caused you to become an
No,
entrepreneur?
I didn't know anything about entrepreneurship, man. I can't say that. I couldn't say that
Mm-hmm.
at all. To be honest, back then, you couldn't tell me anything about anything besides basketball. That's all I
Mm-hmm.
saw. All I saw was basketball,
Tell us
you
about
know.
it. Yeah.
So, if you were to ask me what I wanted to do, you go to the NBA. I had no other ambition. There was nothing else that I saw that really piqued my interest or had a desire to do. I didn't see anything else. There was nothing else out there that was like, okay, I see myself doing that. But what I realized was ever since I probably say middle school, people would always tell me about my voice all the time. And I remember somebody told me you probably want to think about getting into broadcasting.
Mm.
And when I heard that, I said, you know what? It doesn't. I had to be real with myself. I said, man, with the way things are going right now, it doesn't look like I'm going to make it to the league. So I said, well, if I can't be make it to the NBA as a player, maybe I can become an NBA analysis
Mm.
or a sports broadcaster. So when I made that decision, I started to go. I tried to understand what degree I needed, and it seemed like I needed a communications degree. So I was going to school for communications, and then my stepdad and my mom thought it'd be best for me to get my real estate license as well, so that I could work real estate with them. So I would do the homes, they would do the loans, and that's what we did.
Wow. Wow. And so, okay, what led from there? After like, okay, so you were going for the degree, and
Yeah,
then
I was going for the degree, but I'm not a school person, man. School was hard for me, not because school's not hard for me because I'm not a bright individual. I'm a very bright individual, always have been, but I like to learn, but not the way that the school system is set up. The
mm,
structure of school does not work for me.
mm,
So I found myself being the class clown in college. And I went from being getting school grants to being placed on academic probation.
mm,
And I had to leave. I was at the college U of H downtown, U of H University of Houston downtown campus, and I had
mhm.
to leave there and go to a community college to try to bring my grades back up. And that was when I got my license, and I just never went back to school.
Respect. I
Yeah,
get it.
I just never went back. It just wasn't for me, man. I didn't like it. Yeah, I was really the only thing I enjoyed about school was the socializing.
Right.
Everything else just wasn't for me.
Well, man, you're in good company. A lot of great entrepreneurs, say forget this system, and use it for socializing and networking and building up their network, right?
Pretty
And then
much. Pretty
then
much.
get out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So so tell us, man, like when you think about it, Coach Andre, like what's your most dominant gift?
Most dominant gift. Um, I'm a teacher.
Mm,
It comes very easy for me to teach, and my mother recognized it. And the crazy part is when she told me that my gift is in teaching, I shunned it.
mm,
And I did that because when she said teacher, the very first thing that came to my mind was what I didn't like, which is the academic school system, that structure. I'm like,
mm,
trying to do that. But
yeah.
I didn't realize that you can be a teacher in all different aspects, in all different places, all over. I didn't realize that.
Right.
But I realized that I was a teacher because I would see how somebody would teach somebody something for the first time, and I would watch and I'd be like, that doesn't make sense. Why would you teach them that? They're not going to understand that. Why don't you
Mm,
start here instead of starting over there? But to
yeah.
me, it came easy because that was my gift. See, your
Mm,
gift comes easy to you. You don't have to work at it. Now, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't practice and cultivate your gift. It just means instead of you starting here, you start here. So I was already right here. That means that's not my gift. Most people start right here. I was already right here because of my gift. Now, once you understand
mm,
that, you should cultivate your gift so you don't stay here, you go here. And that's what
right.
I had to realize.
That's what's up, man. Well, shout out to your mom again for recognizing. A lot of people don't have. They go through life unconscious of what their gift is, and
Yeah,
don't have anybody to point it out
most
to.
most people,
Right,
most, yeah.
right, man. So when did you start? Like, okay, so what age were you, by the way, when your mom was telling you that, hey, this is clear and evident in you? What do you remember? What age?
I was an adolescent. I couldn't tell you the exact age, but I was an adolescent, man. I was somewhere between 16 and 20, somewhere in there.
Wow, love it.
Yeah.
So when did you start to like use that gift in knowing, like, hey, this is an acceptance of, like, this is my thing, and when did you start to, and what are some of the results or ramifications you'd start to see, either clients you've helped or people that you were serving, how
You know
and
what?
how.
I'm gonna be honest with you, David. You're the first person to ask me these specific questions. I've never
Hmm.
been asked these specific questions. So
Hmm.
kudos to you on that. And,
Yeah.
and because nobody's asked me that question, I've never thought about it. But if
Mm.
I had to put a specific target time as to when that happened, it would have to be when I started hosting my own home buying seminars. Now,
Mm.
as a realtor, nobody ever taught me how to host a home buying seminar. Nobody
Really?
ever told me how to host any kind of anything, any conference, nothing. But I literally sat down. I said, okay, I'm going to host an event to teach people how to buy a home.
Wow.
I'm going to need an inspector. I'm going to need a credit specialist. I'm going to need a mortgage lender. And I literally just sat down and wrote down everything that I need, and I put it together, and I hosted the event.
Wow.
And what when I realized was when I hosted the event, I would hand out surveys and I would ask people on a scale from 1 to 10, how was this event? Bruh, I rarely got anything less than a 9.
Wow.
And nobody taught me how to do this. That was when I realized that I had something going on.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
special, man. That's special. Wow. So that's a good segue in to the story we opened the show up with. Like, you know, you learned your way to be successful, but it wasn't always that way. You had to learn through challenge and failure, take us through that experience, man, that you went through.
Yeah, man. And I got my license in 2004. That was when I was in college and I
Hmm.
decided to, well, I was encouraged to go get my license. So I did a couple of deals. I sold my mother's friend her first house. I did a couple other transactions, and then the market crashed. And then the person that was mentoring me, he asked me a question. He said, "Man, with what's going on, you got a decision to make. You either you can come work in my office with me and learn the ropes of real estate from the back end, or you can get a job." No, I had never worked at 8 to 5, 9 to 5. I had no interest in doing that. So I said, "No, I'm going to go get a job. I'm done." And I left the industry. Fast forward years later, that young man went on to becoming the top agent in the city and one of the top agents of the country.
What? Like red pill, blue pill
Bruh,
experience.
he was driving the car that I wanted back then when it was brand new.
Wow.
Yeah, so I didn't have the foresight. So he went on to do great things. I went and got a job, and I worked a job for different jobs for four different things. Multi-level marketing, did all kinds of different things, and I did that for years. And I just had my license on the side, trying to do it part time from time to time. But in 2007, I got the job that I wanted, which is working at T-Mobile.
Hmm.
I was there for 4 years,
Yeah.
and in 2011, I realized that I was a different person working there. I realized that every time I had to go to work, my energy would be drained and people were not liking me at work. And I was a likable person. They always loved me, but I was changing as an individual as I was at work. And when I
Hmm.
realized that I no longer wanted to be there, I decided that I was going to make a decision and I was going to take a leap of faith and I was going to drain my 401k and do real estate full time. And in 2012, as we started the year in 2012, that's what I did. I decided I was going to jump out full time. And when I did that, I had my own apartment, but I had a roommate, and I had another friend who sold cars. He was making a lot of money selling cars. He would buy a car on Craigslist. I'm sorry, buy a car at the auction, sell it on Craigslist. I said, man, I want to do what you do. So I would trunk him $200, $300, $400 to take me to the auction. I would buy a car and I would sell it on Craigslist and I would make a profit. So I did that. I had two hustles. I was selling cars. I was selling houses.
Mm-hmm.
Now, shortly after I sold a couple of cars, he died.
Oh man.
He literally died on a motorcycle accident on 59 here in Houston.
Oh man.
After he died, my roommate he sent me a text message that said, man, I just want to let you know that in 2 weeks I'm moving out. So just like that, my bills doubled and my sources of income has just got cut in half.
Wow.
So here I am trying to make it full time in real estate that I don't really know that well. And I have double the bills. So I went from being in my own apartment to being evicted. And now I'm in a hotel and I'm selling my belongings just to get by.
Wow.
And then a friend caught wind of what was going on. Not because I told her, because I didn't tell anybody, but because she kept asking the right probing questions. And she took me in.
Wow.
And I literally went from one friend's house to the next friend's house, sleeping on couches, sleeping on beds, sleeping on floors, from one friend to the next.
Wow.
While I'm trying to do real estate. Wow. I lost my car in an accident because the car that I had, it was a Mercedes-Benz compressor, C230. I got in an accident and they fixed the car, but I couldn't pay the $500 deductible. So the car got repoed.
Dang.
So now I have no car and I'm sleeping with different friends' house. I kept working, finally got enough to get another car. And I'm at a friend's house and I'm in a 1-bedroom apartment with 5 adults and a child. 5 adults, 1 child, 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, 1 car. And I was in that situation for over a year. Wow. And when she kicked me out, I told my dad that I would move in with him. I was 29 years old. I told him I'd be there for 2 weeks. I was there for 6 months. A week after my 30th birthday, he handed me a subpoena that I had to get out. Whoa. So I packed up all my belongings and I put them in a car that I had just got. And I literally drove around the city working to sell homes, and I had no home. I would get up, I would go to 24-hour fitness, take a shower, brush my teeth, and I would go to Starbucks and I would work. Wow. And then I would do that all day. And I would put a couple of black jackets over all my belongings in the back seat. So if anybody looked in my car, they couldn't see all my belongings in there. And I did that for 3 months, sleeping in my car and worked to sell homes until I had enough to get another place. Wow. And that was my reality. That was what I had to do. Now, I did have an opportunity to get a job. My best friend still to this day called me and said, hey, man, he didn't know I was homeless, but he knew that I wasn't doing very well in real estate. He said, man, I can get you a job working when I'm working. And he was making 6 figures. And I told him no.
Wow.
I was like, no.
You burned all your bridges. I mean, the boat, like they say, you didn't allow yourself to go back or retreat on your word.
That's just it. Because I knew that if I went back, I'd be going right back to what I just came from. And I'd be unhappy working for somebody else. And I didn't want that. And at the time, he told me he didn't understand. He told me years later, much years later, he said, man, remember when I asked you to get a job over here and you told me no? Man, I didn't understand then, bro, but I get it now. I really get it now.
Wow.
And he told me that I was part of the reason why he paid for his wife to get her license.
Wow.
That was inspiring.
Look at that, man. Dude, like, your name should be next to the definition of grit and the definition of inspiration, like at the same time, like dude, like like you're going through it and you get a lifeline, and it's just like it's like those stories of founders where they run up they're building up a business and they got funding, like somebody's like, I'll give you $1 million uh to get 20% of your business. Like, no, there's not. And they need money to keep the business afloat, but they're
Right.
like,
They
no,
did. They did. Yeah.
no, I'm not letting you invest. I'm gonna stick to my vision. The kind of gall, the attitude, the what do they call it,
Yeah.
um uh attitude, but the mindset you have to have,
Audacity. Audacity.
audacity, there it is, to have that, dude. Respect,
I
man.
bet on myself. I bet on me.
Hmm.
I bet on me.
Wow. Wow,
You
bro.
know what? Look, I'm going to tell you what it was, though.
Yeah.
I got addicted to personal development.
Speak on it.
I got addicted to listening to Jim Rohn, Bob Proctor, Les Brown, Eric Thomas, Tony Robbins, all the Earl Nightingale. I got addicted to listening to these people. Um, Bob Proctor. And what I noticed was every single one of these individuals had a low point that they talk about. Every
Mm,
single one of them. Eric
mm,
Thomas was eating out of garbage cans. Tony
right.
Robbins tells a story all the time to where that man came and gave him food when they had no food on Thanksgiving.
Mm,
Steve Harvey talks about how he was homeless and sleeping in his car. Tyler Perry talks about the same thing. Every single person has a story.
that's
So
real.
I'm like, man, what makes me so special that I'm not going to have a story?
Mm,
Nothing. So I said, you know what? Since they got a story, this is just my story.
mm,
At some point, I'm going to be speaking on stages talking about what I'm going through right now.
wow. And I'm a
Guess what?
witness to that. I'm a witness to that. I saw you speak on the stage and share the story. So it's happening, and it's happened. Wow.
Yeah. And just last year, I was telling this story in Dubai
Wow,
on
dude.
a stage.
Wow. Remarkable. Remarkable, bro. Like, yeah. So, it's funny. You're just in alignment of one of the areas that we talk about in the show, and I know you would know these scriptures, and there's the scripture about the parable of the talents, right? The one that had one, the
Mm-hmm.
one that had two, the one that had five.
Mm-hmm.
This whole show is built on that, and that
Mm-hmm.
there's three processes, three steps to get to, that God shows us on how to discover our purpose and do our purpose. So one is discover your gift, right? Your mom helped you discover what you was already in you, this teaching gift. Two is development, which you were just talking about. So a lot of people have a gift, but they don't. You talked about it. There's people start here, people start here. But if you have a natural gift, you start at a higher level. And like a LeBron James, who has this athletic ability, but he still puts in that development into
Yeah.
himself to be great.
Yeah.
And same for you. You continue to develop yourself. So I want you to talk to us about the development a little bit more, right? So you listen to the greats. Obviously, this is because I met you in an environment of where this room, you don't just walk in this room, you pay to be in this room,
You gotta
right? Like,
pay.
so it's,
You gotta
you
pay.
you know what I mean, you've invested into yourself. Can you talk
Yes.
about that, like investing in yourself, pouring into your mind, developing yourself, like because I don't think a lot of people see, they might see your success today or see how you've risen, but they don't see the behind the scenes. They don't know what it really takes behind the scenes, the discipline, the reading, maybe the affirmations, the prayer, all the stuff. So can you talk to us about the development behind the scenes that nobody sees?
Let me ask you a question, David.
Yeah,
You seem to be a pretty fit brother. How often do you eat, man?
every day,
Yeah, every day. Okay, maybe multiple times a day.
at least at least twice.
At least twice a day. So what
Yeah,
you're telling me is, in order for you to feel nourished and be in shape, you have to eat multiple times a day.
for sure.
Okay. Everybody in this world has a mind, right?
Yep.
If I was to ask most people what is the first step to success, from from what I gather, most people would tell me mindset. I
Mm-hmm.
don't believe it's the first step personally. I believe it's the second step. I believe desire is first because you're not going
Mm-hmm.
to change anything if you don't have the desire to do so. But
Mm-hmm.
after you have the desire, you got to change your mindset.
Yeah.
So if you eat food to nourish yourself, to be and feel whole, and you feed yourself multiple times a day, how often do you think you might need to feed the most important, vital aspect to your success, which is your mind?
Mm.
Multiple times a day. Now, the
Mm.
interesting thing about the mind is that the mind is a muscle,
Mm.
memory is a muscle,
That's
and
good.
the mind is meant to be programmed. And to the degree that you don't program your mind yourself, it will be programmed for you as a result of your neglect.
Jeez.
Most people neglect to feed their minds purposely.
Mm.
They just allow the outside influences to feed their mind. What does that mean? The TV shows you watch, the movies you watch, the music you listen to, the conversations that you're involved in. All these things are being processed in your mind.
Wow.
And whether you want to believe it or whether you want to acknowledge it, it has an effect on how you think.
Wow.
I made it to where I am because I made a conscious decision to feed my mind every single day. And
Wow.
sometimes you have to pay, financially pay, to sow a seed to invest inside yourself.
Mm.
Just like as you're growing up and you're developing and you need somebody outside of yourself to aid in that process, you need a parent, you need a mom, you need a dad.
Mm-hmm.
In business, you need somebody to aid in your development, a
Right.
mentor, a coach.
Yeah.
They don't come free all the time.
True.
There are times that they do, but sometimes they don't.
Right.
So for me, I had to understand that if I wanted to be successful, I had to do what the successful people are doing.
Mm.
And the most successful people have a mindset because I like what Jim Rome said.
Mm-hmm.
You can make a living working on your job.
Yeah.
If you want to make a living, work on your job. If you want to make a fortune, work on yourself.
Mm.
Most people
That's right.
spend limited time focusing on themselves. Now they
Wow.
focus on how they look. They focus how much money you putting on how you look on the outside. How much money you spending on things that's gonna make you look good from what
Mm.
everybody else sees on the outside. Now,
Mm.
how much money are you investing on how you look on the inside?
Jeez.
Your
Dude.
mind, your
That's a lot.
soul, your spirit. How much money are you investing on therapy,
Mm.
on coaching,
Mm.
on mentorship, on conferences, on seminars? How much money are you investing on those things? Because if you change the inside, automatically you'll change the outside. You'll even change your perspective for how you see yourself on the outside just from changing the inside.
That's real.
So, to answer your question, it's all about how you choose to focus on how you feed yourself daily.
Bro, that's so much fire in that. Like, y'all, he just gave y'all a master class on self development. Like, that's fire, bro. Can you do you mind taking us in a little bit, man? What does a day look like for you, person development wise, right? Like, what are you what would you do, in the morning or in the afternoon, just to give some listeners idea of like what that looks like, what you talked about, pouring
Yeah,
into
that's a great
themselves.
question. So,
Yeah.
so John Maxwell, he's one of my virtual mentors. I never met him, but I follow him. The secret to your success is found in your daily routine. That's what
That's right.
John Maxwell says. The
That's right.
secret to your success is found in your daily routine. Those things that you're doing every single day on a routine basis. That's what
Mhm.
makes you successful.
Yeah.
The most intricate time of day is what you do when you first get up in the morning.
Mhm.
When I get up, the very first thing I do is I say my affirmations. I'm blessing my day with my words. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. What are you saying about your day before you even get out of bed?
That's real.
What are you saying about yourself before you even get out of bed? After I do that, I brush my teeth, wash my face, go downstairs, and the very first thing I do is I put on worship music.
Mm.
And this is me and God. Now, this is before I look at the phone.
Mm.
No social media, no answering
Respect.
phone calls and text messages. No. Worship music, read my Bible, meditate, sit in silence for a moment, and then I write down in my journal.
Respect.
Those are things that I do on a regular basis. And you got to get up extra early to do these things. And after I do all that, then I'm going to the gym. And at the gym, I'm working out my body and my mind at the same time because I'm not listening to Lil Wayne and Drake. I'm listening to audiobooks.
Wow.
I'm listening to podcasts. I'm listening to things that's going to feed my mind as I'm working out. If you tell yourself that you need music to work out, if you tell yourself that, that's what it is. I don't tell myself that.
Mm. Dude. Yo, yo. This is fire, man. Like I'm gleaning. I know the listeners are gleaning tremendous value from what you're sharing, bro. This is fire. So we got the development phase. You really broke that down for us, man. Take us into the last D, which I believe is distribution, right? So the parable of talents, they just, God shows them that they have a certain amount of talent. Then God expects us to develop that talent. The third is we know that it's never just for you, which will go into purpose, right? With your book, purpose is not for you, right? Your purpose is not for you. Um, so that last phase is distribution, right? You got to tell other people. You got to market yourself. You got to position yourself. You got to put yourself out there, and that's obviously what you did in your real estate business as well. Because there would have been no closed deals if you had not marketed yourself and all that. So talk to us about two aspects. One, just talk to us about the importance of marketing, right, from your perspective, and then give us examples and things that you've done in real estate and as a coach and all of the things you do in marketing yourself.
Yeah, great. So I like to, one of my mentors, which is my broker in real estate, he talks about there's two different things. You have marketing and you have prospecting. Prospecting, and let's just talk about it from a real estate perspective as a real estate agent. Prospecting is me going towards the business. I'm picking up the phone and I'm making phone calls trying to find somebody that needs my services. That's prospecting. I'm going towards you. I'm coming to find you. Marketing is me putting things out there for people to find me. Social media posts, flyers, all things like that. That's all marketing. Now, most people, high percentage, I would probably say 90%, if not more, focus on marketing. But the most successful people focus more time and more energy on prospecting.
Mm.
The difference is prospecting is uncomfortable. Prospecting pulls you out your comfort zone. It is uncomfortable for me to sit down for an hour and call people that I don't know and they don't know me. And they're hanging up in my face and cursing me out at the same time. But if you ask the most successful agents, and I'm just talking about real estate, but this is any industry.
Mm-hmm.
It's the most uncomfortable things that will lead and aid to your success.
Mm-hmm.
So I would implore you to focus most of your time on you going after the business versus doing things to attract the business towards you. Now you should be doing a healthy dosage of both.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But in my opinion, you should focus more time on you going after them.
Mm. Mm. Dope. So give us some things that had transpired for you as the business was blowing up, and after you climbed out of in your story, after you climbed out of that hole of being kind of in between different
Consistency,
places.
bro.
Yeah.
Consistency. What happened was with the rise of social media, people started seeing that I was being consistent.
Mm.
People started seeing that, hey, man, he's been doing this for a while now.
Yeah.
And what happens is when it's one thing for me to tell you I do something,
Right.
but how many times does a person tell you that they're doing something, and the next time you talk to them, they done did two other things since then?
Yeah.
You see what I'm
Right.
saying? But when you talk to a person in the next 4 or 5 years, they're still doing the same thing.
Mm.
People respect that.
Right.
So it was the consistency that people were seeing from me. Man, I see you've been doing that for a while, bro. That's what's
Right.
up. People respect that. People
Right.
respect that stick to itness, that
Mm.
resilience to keep
Mm.
doing the thing that you started off doing.
Wow.
Remember, I was in real estate long before we had all these realtors out. Everybody's a realtor now.
Mm.
I was already doing this. I remember I would go to networking events and people would ask me what I did, and I was proud to say I'm a realtor. And I'd always get a positive something feedback. Man, you're a realtor for it. And I've always wanted to get into that. That's what I kept hearing. Nowadays, if I go to an event, oh yeah, me too. Who you with?
Oh, wow. Wow.
Everybody's doing it now.
I love that.
And what I believe has happened is most people are not walking in their purpose, but they're tired of working for somebody else.
Mm.
And
Mm.
real estate is just sexy.
Mm. Got it. Speaking of purpose, man, I can't have you on here and not talk about purpose, bro. And
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah. Let's do it.
so 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 you have a book entitled "Your Purpose Is Not for You," right? Yes, yes. I was trying to find my copy, but yes. So talk to us about the book and what caused you to write that, and what is the core concept around "Your Purpose Is Not for You"?
Yeah. So, full transparency, I never saw myself as an author. Never crossed my mind. I didn't even see when you ask a person if something's possible. It first has to be in their mind to even say if it's possible or not. It was not even in my mind.
Mm.
So the fact that I have a book is all God. He gave
Mm.
me the title a long time ago, and I never put the pen to the paper until 7 years later.
Mm.
But when he gave me the title and I finally wrote the book, I realized that it was in me to do so. Like if I took a fruit and I smashed that fruit, the only thing that's going to go all over the table is what's inside the fruit.
Mm-hmm.
And what God did was he smashed me so that what was in me could come out.
Mm.
And that was the product of it.
Mm.
And it's really centered around helping people understand that everything that was created on this earth has a reason for being created.
Mm.
You are no different because you are creation.
Right.
Everything that's creation has a creator.
Right.
The creator created that creation for a reason.
That's right.
That reason is titled purpose. And when
Mm.
you can see it, it's called vision.
Mm.
Most people don't have a vision because they don't know what their purpose is.
Do. I get it. I get it. Um. So, what would you say to people that say, Coach Andre, I don't know my purpose. I don't even know if I have one, because there are people that feel that way, right? What do you say to those people?
First thing I would say is the fact that you're breathing is indication that you have purpose. See, if God doesn't have use for you, he'll take you away, take your breath away. The fact that you're here is an indication that you still have a reason for being here. Now
Respect.
it's up to you if you really want to find out what that reason is. But as I said earlier, I believe the very first step to success is desire. You gotta want it first,
Mm.
because if you don't want it, you're not gonna go through the necessary steps it takes to achieve what it is that you say you want.
Right.
So that to that person, I would say, do you really want to know? And if you really do want to know, anytime that you have a desire for something and you want to make the change to what it is that you desire, understand the very first thing that's going to happen is opposition.
That's real.
There's going to be an obstacle that's going to come up on the rise that's going to test you.
Man, tell it.
And it's
Tell
up
it.
to you to decide if you're going to say, man, it wasn't supposed to happen or this wasn't happening. No. Or you can look at it and say, you know what? This arose and it's upon me to figure out how I'm going to get around this so I can achieve what I want to achieve.
Mm.
And you got to start asking yourself the right questions as to finding out what your purpose is. What am I
Right.
good at? What is that gift? What is that thing that comes easier to me than it comes to others?
Right.
What do I enjoy? What are those things that give me energy that I do? What are the things that I would do for free without getting paid for doing them and I still do them because I enjoy them? You
Mm.
got to start asking yourself the right questions. It's going to take doing some internal work, some inside work, some personal time that you have to sit with yourself.
Mm.
Solitude, no distractions.
Respect.
But if you do the work, you can receive the answers that you want to receive.
Dude, let's go. Let's go. I love it, bro. Um, so when it comes to what you're doing, tell us about your business, and for those that um, can want to work with you on a real estate side. I know you're down in Houston, um, but I know you do some coaching as well. So talk to the different elements of what you do, because I know somebody's listening. Man, this is my guy. This is my coach right here. I need my coach Andre.com. Right.
Right.
So talk to us about what you do, and man, and how people can plug in with what you do.
Yeah, 100%. So apart from real estate, man, I decided that I was going to continue not just sharing, but letting the knowledge be known as to what I've experienced and what I've understood as it relates to entrepreneurship. So I am the coach for those individuals that are like, hey, I want to know what my purpose is. And not only do I want to know what it is, but I want to profit from my purpose. So I push people to pursue purpose over profit. And I help people become employed from employees to entrepreneurs. So those individuals that are like, man, I wake up every day and I feel stuck. I'm unhappy. I'm unfulfilled. I'm unsatisfied. I need some more direction. I want to get unstuck, but I just don't know where to start. I just don't know where to go. That's the individual that I deal with. And I help that person build up themselves by mapping out a game plan, tackling their mindset, getting unstuck so that they know the specific things that they need to do to build themselves up and the specific things to know about themselves as to who they are and what they can chase in alignment with their purpose and how they can profit from those things by turning them into a business and becoming an entrepreneur.
That's what's up, bro. That's what's up. So, where can people plug in and learn more about that? Where should they go to
Yeah, you
say,
can hit me up on IG. You could also go to mycoachandre.com and schedule a consultation with me as well. And I'm here to help. I'm here to just make sure that people understand that not only is your purpose not for you. Let me ask you a question, D. Let me
yeah,
ask you a question.
yeah,
If I had cancer, right, and you had the cure for cancer, but you didn't tell me that you had the cure for cancer, and I found out about it, how do you think I would feel about that?
horrible. Like betrayed. Like
Yeah.
that's how you gonna do me right there. Yeah,
But God created you with the He gave you the cure. He gave you what it took to create the cure, and you
Yeah.
didn't put it out there. You didn't share it with anybody. And then the person next to me, she died from cancer, and you had the cure.
Right.
Is it possible to say that could possibly maybe be your fault a little bit? Maybe.
Yeah. I agree. Be
So
my
my
fault.
question is, who is suffering right now
Mm,
because you're not walking and fulfilling your purpose?
Jeez. That is such a deep and loaded question.
I'm just asking questions. It's not my fault if I put the information out there and I've done my part. But if I have not done my part, it's possible somebody else can't do their part because they're waiting on me.
That's real.
So somebody's suffering because you're not walking in your purpose. It's not about you.
Bro. That is heavy. That is heavy. Man, that brings us to the question we always ask, the final question we always ask on the show, man. You had no idea we were gonna ask you this. What's the difference between one's gift and one's purpose? One's gift and one's purpose.
Yeah, the gift is your starting point. Your gift is what you what comes easily to you to do. But your purpose is what you were created to do. You can be gifted in many things. You can be gifted in many things, but that doesn't mean it's your purpose. It doesn't mean that you were created to do that. And it's
Mm,
also important to understand that your purpose could change depending on the season in your life.
mm,
You know,
that's
so
good.
you may not have just one purpose. You can have a purpose because God doesn't work in time.
Mm,
God does not. He does not work in time. God
mm,
works in seasons.
mm.
Man works within a realm of time.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's
So
good.
yeah, it's just understanding the difference between what you're good at easily, that comes easy to you, versus what you were created to do.
Wow. Fire, bro. Fire. Is there anything I didn't ask you that you feel like you should share with the listeners?
Um, nah, man, I think you did a great job. You asked me some questions that people haven't asked me before, which I'm grateful for. It actually probed me to actually think, because I usually people ask the same questions, but you
Mm,
actually you changed it on me, which I'm grateful for. So yeah, I'm
no
I'm with
doubt.
that. I'm with that.
No, no doubt, brother. So we're gonna plug mycoachandre.com on the link. Any other links? And we're gonna plug the IG at You Will Notice Me. And any other plugs or anything? And obviously, they gotta go get the book. Where should they get the
Yeah,
book?
go to andrenotice.com.
Okay,
And yeah, I'm there, easy to find, easy to link up with. You can Google Andre Notice as well, and I put
beautiful.
it up that way as well. So yeah, I'm Googleable.
There we go. Love it, bro. Bro, this is a blessed episode, man. I learned so much, and I know the listeners are too. Thank you so much for really pouring into the people and sharing from your life experience and wisdom into the people, man. We're all blessed by it.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I have another coaching program coming up. We're about to do
Yeah,
another season. It's called
yeah,
Wages to Wealth. Wages to Wealth. People have go from W-2 to, man, look, it's different over here. Because if you're working
yes.
a job, you pay the highest rate of taxes. The only way to get around that is to have a business. And I
There it
and
is.
I help you create that business structure.
I love it. Oh, yeah. So we got to plug that in too. Excellent, bro. Thank you so much.